Hey everybody, I wanted to pop on tonight and talk a little bit about growing your reach on social media. And this was inspired by a couple of different conversations I had throughout the day today. And what kind of came up in some of those conversations and in previous conversations that I've had with fitness business owners or people growing their network marketing businesses or whatever it is either a fear of using social media to grow your business or really not knowing how to do it in a way that's effective. So I wanted to share a couple of different points with you today. And if you're kind of thinking like, I don't have an audience, I don't know where to start with this, that's okay. And the first thing I want to say is that if you want to use social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of them, I don't know. I personally tend to use Facebook the most. I find it to be the most effective for my business. You can find what's the most effective for your business, but even if you don't have, 10,000 followers or 100,000 followers, that's okay. It's perfectly fine to start with a small audience. Most of us do. Everyone starts with a small audience, right? Like everyone starts with one follower, then two. And if you are awesome to your audience and you deliver awesome content and value and you show up consistently, they are going to really start to pay attention to you and they're going to become your tribe. They're going to become part of your community and they're going to grow with you as your reach goes. But I want to give you some pointers to actually growing that reach, right? Because it's not just about showing up and like posting, right? It goes further than that. And so one of the fears that I have seen come up in a lot of conversations is the fear of posting frequently. So I want to say a couple of things about that. And then the rest of the points I'll talk about are going to support the frequency piece. So you cannot be afraid of putting yourself out there on both your business and your personal pages. And I'm talking, when I say frequently, I mean like at least daily, but sometimes multiple times a day. And what you have to think about is if you are contributing to other people's lives, if you're adding value, if you're inspiring, if you're teaching them something, you're good to go. And don't forget that Facebook likes social people. So when you post frequently, you are actually going to be seen by more people. So this is really important. But it's not just about like posting random stuff, right? You want to be authentic in your posts and you want to be original. I'm not saying you have to come up with like totally brand new ideas that the world has never heard before, because that would be really hard to do on a regular basis, and people will actually appreciate your perspective on something that they've thought about before or something that they have heard about before. But you need to be authentic. And so, sharing personal blips of your life goes a really, really long way. And don't be generic, right? Like nobody wants generic content in their news feed, especially from a business owner or somebody that they might find inspiring. So share things that resonate with you, that inspire you, that help people see the world through a new lens. And just remember that you're posting, a lot of people really struggle with this. Your posting isn't about ego tripping, right? It's not about like, look at me, look at this life. No, you're sharing blips of your life because you are an inspiration, because you are growing your businesses, because you're building relationships with people online, some that know you, some that don't know you. And that's a super, super powerful thing. Like what we don't think about is how incredible our reach is now. The world has changed, even in the last 2 years with the introduction of Facebook Live. Everything is changing and it's changing constantly. So don't be afraid to use these tools. I was super afraid to go Facebook Live on my personal page when I first did it a couple weeks ago, but we're getting there. I've done it a million times in groups. This is different, but I'm really encouraging you to do it. Another point is that you want people to get to know you, right? Because people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And so share your story. Your story matters and it's going to resonate with people, and people connect with stories. So stories stay around for centuries, even before there was the written word, really. So, the stories are passed down and stories relate to people. So that is huge. Share your story. Also share images and videos. It's going to be a lot better than just sharing text all the time. I kind of think that goes without saying, but again, it's helping people to connect with you. A huge point I want to make is, and this is particularly for fitness business owners, which I see sometimes, it's like, sometimes profiles can look like you're in school or reading a scientific article or something like that. So unless you're training, coaches or performance athletes or something like that, I'm speaking to fitness business owners, but this can apply otherwise as well. Don't be just purely educational. Like, nobody wants to read the science of nutrition on your Facebook page for the most part. You have to think about who your audience is, but for the most part, no one wants to see that. Education is great. It is so great to establish yourself as the expert, to show you know what you're talking about, but it can't be purely educational. It really needs to be combined with inspiration. It needs to be entertaining. It needs to be thought-provoking in some way. So that's really, really important. Not just educational, but it has to have some other components that draw people in and make them feel good, make them feel connected. But on the other side of that, I think it's totally fine to promote things like when you have special offers, like I'm doing a 21-day challenge right now. I would promote that on my personal page as well, but you cannot be purely salesy. If every post you make is to sell something or to try to sell something, you're going to turn people off, and you're going to turn them off very, very quickly. You have to add more value. And it was best described, I've heard it described this way many times since, but it really struck me the first time I heard it. When you're selling something, you got to think about it like a bank account, right? So when you're selling, you're making a withdrawal. When you're adding value, when you're connecting with people, when you're making them feel good and making them think, you're making a deposit. And like a bank account, you always want to make more deposits than withdrawals. So in order to do that, you have to add a ton of value before you ask for anything in return. And that's how I would want to do business anyway. So remember, if you are posting a lot of salesy posts and you're wondering why you're not getting much response, that could potentially be why. So you want to always make more deposits, add more value than you could ever withdraw. That is huge by making sales pitches or offers or that kind of thing. Just a couple more points, and I think these are all really important, is don't overthink it. I know a lot of particularly fitness business owners who get into this kind of habit of thinking that they have to pre-plan all their posts and that kind of thing. I will tell you, my best posts and my best content, like this just kind of came together. I wrote up an email and then I decided to do a Facebook Live because of a conversation that I had today. So this doesn't need to be pre-planned a month in advance or a week in advance. Post when you feel like it. If you own a gym and your client just did something awesome, like take a picture, as long as they're okay with it, and post it and give them a shout out. Tag them in that photo. It's so, so powerful. Post photos of your clients sweaty and hugging each other like they just had a great workout. People apparently love photos of my dogs, so I post a lot of that, but it also kind of shows the lifestyle that I live, where I have this kind of time and location freedom, and they can go run in the woods, and I can be in the woods in the middle of the afternoon, and I love that. But don't overthink it. Just giving people a glimpse into your life is really, really powerful, because again, people want to do business with people. They don't want to do business with a brand. Let's see, what else do I have here? Keep it positive, right? So I actually love a good rant when it comes to fitness. I've posted them myself. I saw one come up in my Facebook memories the other day about, like, if I heard another trainer say, muscle weighs more than fat, I was going to lose my mind. It was something like that, because a pound is a pound, right? So I think a good rant it related to your field is great. Like, not all the time, but it's great. I think for business owners, we need to keep it really positive. And don't air your personal drama. You just can't do it. If you want to be respected as a professional business owner, you have to remember, I don't care if it's your personal Facebook page, you're representing your business 24 hours a day wherever you show up. So however you show up on your personal timeline is how you are representing your business. So please don't forget that. And then the last thing that I want to share, and these to me are the two biggest ones, and they kind of go together, is number one, be value driven. I've talked about this in a couple different points already in here. Show up with the intention of giving to people, with whether it's a picture of your dog or your kid and you want to share something funny that happened, or you want to make people smile, that's great. Whether you want to educate them and inspire them at the same time with something, that's great too, but be value driven. Don't be asking all the time. You cannot do that. I already kind of said that, but I want to reemphasize that. So how can you add to somebody's life every single day? I actually have an alarm on my phone that goes off at 10 o'clock every single morning that says over deliver. And to me, what that means is how can I add more value? The people on my business email list know that that's my mission this year, is how can I contribute? How can I add value to people's lives? And then to kind of go with that, the very last point I want to make is consistency, right? You have to show up consistently. It can't just be like random here and there. You have to show up consistently. You have to let people know that you are reliable. So if you're serious about using social media to grow your business, again, I speak mostly to gym owners. That's my background. But this goes for anybody. If you want to use your business, grow your business using social media, consistency is key, and you can't just show up when you feel like it. Because really think about it, like with your business, if you were inconsistent, how would that work out for you? Probably not very well. So I hope that this gives you some things to think about. I know this is a little bit longer than I would normally like to do. And I also hope it gives you a little bit maybe less fear or resistance about showing up on social media and doing so regularly. So to wrap up, I would love to just thank everybody who tuned in or watched this later, either one. But I would love for you to share with me in the comments, because I'm always writing and refining my craft. Maybe what your biggest takeaway from this video was, or what point you might like to apply to your own business if you have one, or even as a consumer, what resonates the most with you, or what do you like seeing most from business owners, or what don't you like seeing? I think that would be super valuable for you to share. So I will look forward to seeing your comments, and hope everybody has a fantastic Thursday night, and I will be back soon.